Welcome to this video, which hopefully will give you an introduction to the Google Chrome browser, which is not addressed specifically in the book. Again, I want you to understand, if you're a very exact words and maybe a more nervous person, that you need to understand your browser may be a different version of the browser from what I have on this video compared to your computer, so you'll need to adjust accordingly. Google Chrome has sort of a little circle with red, white, blue, green in it as its little logo. If you click on this, you may get a different screen depending upon whether you've set up a home page or whether you have a choice of apps across the top. This home page, of course, can be set up any way you want it. The main thing I want you to notice about this screen is, like Firefox, it doesn't have as much business on the initial interface when you go on to the Chrome website. You've got a bar right here that has your favorites, bookmarks, and over here on the far right there are 3 lines. This used to be a wrench, but now it's 3 lines. For some reason, I don't understand it, they call this the hot dog icon. So it's 3 little bars over on the right, and that basically has the menu items for you. Instead of calling the address bar where you type all the www business, the address bar, they call it the Omni or Omni box. Omni, of course, a prefix for the word all, like you've seen a lot of church materials. And as I said, pretty much in this hot dog icon, if you click this, you have the menu items that you want to use. Basically, if you want to have a new tab, you can click New Tab. I've got the Google search engine, of course, up at front naturally with Google Chrome. That's pretty automatic and kind of a given. If you click New Tab, you'll get a new place where you can get a new website within the same window. And of course, if I were to minimize this, the entire window will disappear when you've got tabs, just like with the others. You can also click the little gray area right next to the tab and get a 3rd or 4th or a 5th one. Google very often will show you on one of the windows, it'll show you the 8 most visited websites on that particular computer at one time. So again, yours may not match exactly like mine. You may possibly see an arrow to the right that will advance you to a different screen. You may see something like this where you can go in and see some of the various apps or features that you can have with Google. Google also has something in Google Chrome called the Chrome Web Store. And if you click on this shopping bag with, of course, the Chrome symbol on there, you can go in and add a number of apps, just like the stores that you have with the iPad and with the Windows Surface and some, a lot of the tablet devices. You can go in and add these to your page. Again, I just wanted you to see this. The back and the forward buttons and the refresh buttons are still on here, just as they are in most standard browsers. And of course, it may automatically sign it up in the corner. You see an address that I don't use with students. I typically don't use it that much, quite honestly. I go through the college email, but it's got michael.sisk@gmail.com. That's an address that I have associated with Google. And if you don't use Google at all, it probably would be a really good idea to have a Google address. And we'll talk about email in a future chapter in the class. I'll go back over here to the hot dog icon and just go through a few things with you. Again, the new window is there. Something different about this one, where you have private browsing, I'll just go down the list kind of out of order compared to the other 2 videos. You have something here called the new Incognito window. I like the way they use a different word for private browsing here. If I were to go down here and look at the history of the sites I've visited, those are earmarked. You may or may not be able to see them from your video screen. But the last places I visited were the Chrome Web Store, Get to Google. I've been doing some research all along, so you'll see quite a bit of Google stuff down here. And it's got the date and the time when I visited a particular site. I can clear this browsing data if I want to. But on the other hand, if I wanted to do private browsing, I go here to something called New Incognito Window. And when you do that, you'll get some information about it. And up here, I didn't notice this for a long time, but up here in the upper left-hand corner, way up in the upper left-hand corner, there's a picture of a little spy that's wearing shades, sunglasses, and that's an indicator that you're in private browsing. So for example, if I were to go to Gardner Webb University's website, and lo and behold, there it is, then I want to go back over here to my hot dog icon and drop that menu down and look at the history. If you can see this, you'll notice that Gardner Webb University is not listed excuse me, in my history. So you do have the private browsing there. They also have something that's available in this particular browser called guest browsing, and if you use that, basically what happens with guest browsing is you can do all of your browsing, search all your pages, and then once you leave the site, all your browsing history for that particular day or that particular session will automatically disappear for you. There's not really a menu bar as such. If you look over here again, clicking this famous hot dog icon, which I've said many times now, you can go to Bookmarks, and you've got a Bookmarks bar that's across the top of the screen. Mine happens to say, starting on the far left, CCC, USA Today, and Web Slice Gallery. If I were to uncheck or deselect it, that will go away, and of course I can bring it back by going to Bookmarks if I wanted to do that. Let's say that I wanted to actually take a site that I really like, and I'll go to a different page. In fact, now that I've shown you the Incognito stuff, I'm out of that now. I'll actually go to another site. Let's say I wanted to go to UNC, University of North Carolina's site, and pull that up. You'll notice many people argue that Google Chrome is much faster than the other browsers, and that's a selling point. This is up to you. I don't editorialize that in the classroom, so you can make those decisions for yourself. If I wanted to go in and go to Bookmarks, I can go to something called the Bookmark Manager. I can bookmark this page, of course, by just clicking on it, and we'll add it to the bookmark bar. And I've got the opportunity, if I wanted to make a brand new folder, let's say I wanted to make an additional folder, instead of saying new folder, Google Chrome says choose another folder. I would make a new one, and maybe I want to call that new folder by the name Universities, and I can use that and save my page excuse me, under that particular folder name. I'll go back over here where I was about to go earlier and go to Bookmark Manager. Bookmark Manager is where you can see all the individual folders that have been made. Mine's a little out of order right here, and I apologize for that, but you get the general idea. You could take USA Today, if I wanted to make that new folder right there. Let's say I wanted to name that or rename it Newspapers, because I happened to see something over here a minute ago called USA Today, and if I wanted to add that over into this particular folder, I could just drag this USA Today into the newspaper folder, and it would be part of that folder. So it gives you a good chance to organize your bookmarks of sites that you want to revisit or that you visit very often in general. You can organize these by folders. You can also do tags on them. Again, you see that universal star that I mentioned in other videos, which is pretty indicative across browsers, the most popular ones anyway, that you're dealing with some kind of bookmarks or favorites that you like in a particular web browser you're using. You can even, and I haven't mentioned this before, you can even export different bookmarks from one browser to another. So if you have a bunch of them that you have in Internet Explorer and you wanted to bring those over to Google Chrome or Firefox or vice versa, you certainly can do that if you like. Again, going back to the menu, the hot dog icon, you can go in and you can save pages. Again, if I have a page I wanted to save, I would still recommend that you choose complete, which will give you the page with all of the different texts and images that go along with it. If you want to go into the menu and you want to change some major settings, of course, as I've mentioned now, you can choose the word settings, and you have various things you can do with it. You can, I would recommend, again, if you're going to use Chrome, if you aren't doing it already, you probably would like to have an email address, a Gmail specifically address associated with this, and you can change what happens at startup. You can show the home button, which I'm going to do right now. You notice the absence of a home button, but now it's over here on to the left of the address bar, which they call the Omnibox, and you can go to your home page that way if you want to. I happen to set mine up as Cleveland Community College before I actually started this video with you. I'll go back to settings again just to show you what all is here. You can go down to where it says advanced settings, and you have privacy issues. You can delete histories. I won't waste your time with a lot of this information that you can look at on your own time, and you're certainly welcome to do that. You can zoom, copy, cut, and paste. A lot of this, again, is self-explanatory. If you want to print this stuff, I would recommend previewing it first. You can go to Tools, and you can get various extensions that will enhance your browser. And I think maybe I have covered quite a bit of this already. I have found that this seems to be a much friendlier browser. Again, there's a learning curve with everything when you change, and sometimes we as adults don't want to change what we're comfortable with. But in a course like this one, I would say get some familiarity with as many browsers as you can. You may actually find some things you like on one browser versus the other. We've even had people using Blackboard in online classes say that such and such a browser works better or faster on my computer than such and such a browser, and everybody has their different opinions. I hope this gives you a good idea about Google Chrome, at least from an introductory standpoint. Speaking of about, if you were to click the About Google Chrome option, you would see that which version you have. Mine happens to be version 24.0 and a whole bunch of decimal points after that. The one thing about this Omnibox, or the address bar, where normally I type in a website like, again, let me try this, and I'll do eastcarolinauniversity.edu, ecu.edu. I can either use this to type in the actual address, and I think this actually doubles as a search engine. So if I were to type in East Carolina University, I will get an automatic search. So the Omni box doubles as both a search engine and as a place to type in the web address itself. So again, that may be something handy to know. I hope this will help you out, and contact me if you have any additional questions.